I am excited to introduce our next authors. Not just one, we get 2 for 1 with this, which I love. And this is Nadirah and Troy Lugg. Nadirah Lugg, known as your Clarity Queen, holds a BA in speech communication and an MA in liberal arts, and she is a certified clarity coach, yoga instructor, and more. She empowers women navigating grief through holistic communication methods. Troy Lugg is a motivational speaker and safety professional impacting the American workforce with degrees in industrial management, and he aims to become the world's top motivational speaker, sharing his insights and inspirational stories. In their chapter, Achieving Greatness Within Your Relationships, they share personal anecdotes and lessons learned from their marriage to illustrate key aspects of building strong relationships. Troy discusses the importance of anticipation, navigation, communication, listening, and leadership, emphasizing the need for mutual support and understanding. Nadirah complements these insights by highlighting the power of embracing change, effective communications, and continuous learning with a partnership. Together, they underscore the significance of working collaboratively, leading with love, maintaining respect to achieve greatness in relationships. Welcome, Nadirah and Troy. Uh-oh, we are not hearing you. Let me unmute you really quick.
Okay, there we go. There we go. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Michael. How are you?
Good morning. Great to see you too. So let's start with what inspired you both to write a chapter in this book.
Oh my. Troy and I have been married. You don't mind? No. Troy and I have been married. See, that's the communication part. Troy and I have been.
Thank you for asking.
No problem. No problem. So we've been married for over 17 years. And the beautiful thing, but we've known each other since 6th and 8th grade. And one of the things that we have learned is that by building a lot of experience, by being friends first, because we were in grammar school together, establishing that, then moving into the more girlfriend, boyfriend, giving each other advice, going to each other for life advice, and our other significant others back in the day, yes. We basically just grabbed a database and kept adding on more and more information, what we learned in our past relationships. And then when Troy approached me about us going ahead and trying to be a couple, and I said no initially, but I'm glad we went ahead and went back and I reviewed that whole idea. And we were able to take all the lessons that we had learned and said, let's share with the world. Let's share with other people who may benefit from the lessons that we've learned, like I said, throughout our relationships, whether platonic, whether it was interpersonal with ourselves or just in the business world.
Yeah. And so many people are actually having relationships, starting off social media where they really don't know each other. So we've actually learned our lessons over time in which people don't invest that time into themselves and into those relationships. So over time, we've built lessons that we've learned over the challenges over years of our journey. And we'd just like to share our lessons learned just because we are here to inspire people on their development of change.
That's right.
And actually to create them along their journey of greatness. Yes. But only to do so, we got to step outside of our comfort zone. And in relationships, we often bring that sense of comfort in 2 different ways where we butt heads. And that was us for so long.
Yes, it was.
And these are the lessons learned. So we just want you to buy the book and tune in.
That's right.
Kelly Kirchner just commented, said, love Nadirah and Troy. They work so well together and bring so much to the table. So insightful. And Aruba said, power couple.
Thank you.
I love it. So one of the things you talk about in your chapter is something that I think I agree with you is very important, but it's one of those things that I've always felt was unsaid. And it's the idea of anticipation in relationships. Yes. Can you share, what does it mean, anticipating your partner's needs, and how does that lead to a positive outcome in a relationship?
Well, for me, a lot of times when we've been with someone for so long, we assume that we know every aspect of that person. And hear me when I say, I'm sure you know when your wife, Michael, when your wife is having a trying day of some sort, and you know how to navigate to kind of ease the blow. And so those are like the anticipation of even emotions or an anticipation of a situation. You kind of see when maybe a deadline needs to be met and you know the temperament of your mate or your friend, or and like I said, it doesn't matter what the relationship is. It's anticipating something and giving it some forethought and then providing some assistance or advice if warranted, but to kind of ease the blow of what we see may be coming. But 9 times out of 10, Troy can really, he's very intuitive in seeing something going on with me as I with him. And when you can anticipate those kinds of things, I promise you, it allows for a lot more of smoother communication and situations in life. I don't know if you have an example per se.
Well, I can always say anticipation is always being one step ahead. So it's all about researching, going above and beyond to make sure that you understand what's to come before it actually happens. So it's actually just preparation, being prepared for the situation at hand. Some people believe in luck, but it's all about preparation. And are you prepared? So did you do a little bit of research in before the time comes to be proactive, to make sure that you are one step ahead of the situation that comes? So being anticipation from my wife, I know that she's a foodie. So each and every day, when she has a challenging time,
Really?
or comes to me with a challenge or concern, I know that I can use food in order to better navigate the situation because I can anticipate she's going to be hungry. So,
Everybody in the world who has wants a meal, but I do get a little food happy. I do.
So one of the things you talk about in your chapter is just, communication, right? It's highlighted as a crucial element in relationships. How do you both ensure that effective communication happens, especially during challenging times, right? These are the times when most people butt heads, but you focus on communicating. Talk about that and how people can do that in their relationships.
Transparency. So Troy and I we were butting heads a lot as far as understanding each other's language. And it wasn't until we brought in a mediator, a coach, that helped us to see that, yeah, what I was hearing was not the same as what he was saying, and vice versa. And so that took some help, but it wasn't until we had to personally learn tools. And it was so helpful to be a part of a wonderful program like Transform Destiny that literally helped us to really understand the language of speaking his language and speaking my language. Everyone has a different love language. Everyone has a different way of thinking, whether you are a logical or practical thinker, or if you like flowery adverbs and adjectives when you're speaking. But we had to learn each other's language. And when it came to conversations, it was time for us to what? Take a breath. Man, breath is a powerful thing. It really is. To calm the body, calm the mind, calm the senses before we get from 1 to 10 in like 0.01 seconds. So if we could take a breath and then go ahead and collect our thoughts. And I'm also a big proponent on, if I can't get what I want to express out in that moment, I had to ask Troy, give me a minute.
I didn't like that, though.
He did not like that. Oh, he did not like that. What do you mean? We're talking right now. I don't understand. What you need a break for? Time out. What is you put a tag on the what? He didn't get that. But for some people, for communication to really, to take it in, I'm a person, I need time to understand what he said, process, and then I can come up with an answer that's going to be beneficial for both of us in our situation.
Well, I would say any family, organization, team, or relationship, you're only as strong as your communication. But one thing I had to learn is intention is totally different than your perception. So what I intend is something totally different than what Nadirah may perceive. So I had to be able to learn to understand that I had to go over and beyond to make sure she understands exactly what I wanted to intend.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't perceived the right way, maybe I did not do.
You had to use other verbiage.
I had to use better communication. So I had to look more so in myself instead of looking at the other person as if they were to blame or at fault.
Yes.
I didn't communicate correctly or as effectively as I should.
Or like I always say, I'll be the first to say, I didn't understand that. Can you use different verbiage? Can you use different words?
Right.
Use words, and
Hey,
then maybe that'll help.
As we all know, men versus what? Mars versus
Venus. We were from Venus, men are from
two
Mars.
different languages.
Yeah. It's so powerful, you know. And in our courses, we teach, we teach about communication. One of the questions I'll ask people is, if two people are having a conversation,
Yeah.
what percentage of responsibility do you have for communication? And most people in the world will say 50%. If there's two of us, 50%. If there's three of us, I own 33 and a third percent. No, you have to have 100% responsibility.
Exactly.
100%. That's right.
That's so
Right.
powerful.
We are the cause to the effect. So.
And
Right.
be willing to go ahead and say, I didn't quite understand that, or can you ask it in a different way?
Mm-hmm. So powerful. So you mentioned the concept of leading by example in a partnership. Can you elaborate on how leading with love and mutual respect has shaped your relationship over the years?
A lot of times, I'm a firm believer, I could show you better than I can tell you. That's been a very personal mantra for myself for many, many, many years. And so a lot of times, again, some people need examples. And so if I'm getting a point across with Troy about, let's say, washing a car. Okay, so, and I want Troy to wash his car, then what I'll do is wash my car. And okay, well, doesn't the car look nice? It's clean, it's ready to go. Ooh, and I'm looking at his car like, okay, are you planning on taking yours in anytime soon? I'm just saying, since I'm gonna, ride with my nice, beautiful, shiny car. I'm just using this as a vague example. But again, the showing or giving by example can definitely help influence a conversation to be had, or even influence an action that you are inspiring your partner to also participate in. Even my participation in any classes or things like that I like to sign up for, I use myself as an example doing the work or whatever, and then I ask Troy, as he sees me doing the classes, like, I think this may be something you might be interested in. Check it out, and then they're more open and receptive to it.
A great example that I can show is actually for leadership, is knowing when to lead and knowing when to follow.
Oh, good.
Every great leader first has to be a great follower. That is something I know, understand, and believe. That's to any leader out there, and we all are leaders.
Yes, that's right.
So with that being said, I had to know when to lead in my relationship and know when to take a back seat. A perfect example is moving to California, in which we just had our 5th year anniversary, November 19th.
Yes.
So we were just so happy to know about that. But we're in the class for Transport Destiny at the time. but anyway, I had to learn that I was fearful at the time. I didn't have a clear plan or a clear path. I just couldn't see the vision of looking beyond. So therefore, I had to know when to take a back seat. So therefore, I did take a back seat, and I looked for Nadirah for guidance, coaching, advice, and direction in order to guide this family into the right direction. It took both of us to understand our path, our journey,
our
roles, seriously. Yeah. But we all have to know when to lead and when to take a back seat. And that's so hard to do in the time of challenge because you're stressed out.
And the roles will interchange. They will interchange.
They will. And you got to be able to make that split-second decision.
That's right.
Absolutely. So we got about a minute left. So we're here promoting the book, Inner Revolution, Embracing Change to Achieve Greatness. So Nadirah and Troy, let people know if they want to follow you, connect with you, work with you one-on-one. What's the best way to do that?
Best way for me, please go to the website at yourclarityqueen.com. That's YOUR, Clarity, CLARITY, Queen, QUEEN.com. That's also my handle on Facebook. That's also my handle on Instagram, TikTok, all the platforms. And so that is always the best way to reach out to me.
And you can look for me at TroyLugg.com, and Troy Lugg speaks on all social media platforms. That's Instagram, Facebook, and also TikTok. So I look forward to seeing you guys and connecting soon.